And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. One of the worst experiences of my life was when I was in the woods being hunted by an axe murderer. It was incredibly scary. Or maybe I was watching a movie. I don't really like those kind of movies, guys. I'm not a big fan of this running in the woods. They're too scary for me. And this game does that, Nyctophobia. In this game, for most of the players except one, you are running through the woods, trying to run from an axe murderer. That is scary as all get out. But what makes this game scary and what makes this game unique is you are wearing these glasses and I cannot see anything here. And so most of the players are playing this game blind. Oh my, that is very different. How does the game play? Let me show you. In this game, one person's going to be the hunter, and they're either going to be an axe murderer or some sort of vampire type creature. Everyone else is going to be a hunted. You can play with special abilities for your hunted characters or not. Now, the board here is going to be set up by the hunter. They're going to pick one of these boards that's here, or they can pick one that's online. Everyone else does not allowed to see that. You're going to be wearing these black glasses here, which, as you can see, allow no light to go through them. All right, so you're not going to be able to look at the board at any point and see anything. And then players are going to be taking turns. The way the hunted will be taking turns is they're going to be able to move one or two, maybe even a third space if they sprint. But before they do, they're going to be able to feel around where they are. To do this, their hand is going to be guided by the hunter's hand. He's going to put them out there and say, here's your piece, so they can feel around it. They can feel one space in each direction, but if they run into these tree lines here, they're not going to be able to see past that. And then they're going to decide which way to run. Ooh, bad way to run because there's nowhere else to go, and then they're going to have to run back. If they find a rock, they're going to be able to pick these rocks up. They might even throw a rock in a certain direction. They'll tell the hunter which direction, and you put these around the board. They're throwing the rock in, and if they hit the hunter, they can, hurt the hunter. Everyone's going to have a certain number of life points. Not hurt the hunter, but basically chase the hunter away. The hunter, if the hunter gets next to them, the hunter's going to be moving along the board. They're going to be moving along trying to get people, and they're also going to be playing one of their cards per turn. They'll be drawing these cards like here. Tell two truths. Or tell, and then move 3 spaces. And if there's noise in the board, like if you made noise or threw a stone, the hunter has to move towards the noise. And then move 3 spaces towards, if there is noise, you move 3 spaces to that. If there's no noise, you move 3 spaces towards a wounded or hidden player. Otherwise, move 2 spaces. So it's kind of a scary thing because you're trying to move around the board. You're trying to get to the car. Get in the car, call for help, and then have no one die. The hunter wins if he basically kills anyone, makes them lose their last life. Every time he's next to them, he can attack them basically and get rid of them. Hunters can also hide, where you turn your token upside down and you're trying to hide so the hunter won't come towards you, that he'll run towards someone else. They can occasionally make specific noise, and they also have special abilities here, like the forest guide. When feeling into adjacent spaces, you can feel an additional space. A cheerleader, instead of taking action, another hunted may take an action on your turn. Yeah, the cheerleader's going to die. Track star, when you retreat or take a sprint action, you may move an extra space. So there's a lot going on here. And even though there's 4 boards, now the board's different. You don't know what direction things are in. And so you'll be able to move this around and then, of course, make your own board. And that's basically how you play. Either the hunted are going to win by someone getting to the car, using a call for help action, and then everyone else surviving one more turn. The hunter will win if he takes somebody out with all their life points. I gotta say, my first impressions of the components of this game were not high. I was like, man, these look like 3D printed things here. These are the trees. But you know what? It doesn't matter because you're only feeling them. And these are really good to feel. They fit in here easily. You can do them in different ways. The board is really easy to build. I'm not a huge fan. Actually, I shouldn't say not huge. I don't like the artwork for this game. It's meh to me. However, only one person's looking at it since everyone else is wearing the glasses. And the glasses. These are cheap glasses. That's fine. You can't see through them at all. You can see a little bit of light around here, so you have to actively make sure that you're not looking out of the corner of your eye at the board. But for the most part, these work really well. Everything has this dark gothic look to it, but since you're not looking at the game most of the time, you're just feeling on the board. I did find that you have to be very careful when feeling on the board. It's, when you feel off, these things do feel different. The different shapes feel different. And, when you feel that hunter next to you, it is kind of a scary thing. But it's really easy sometimes to maybe go a little bit too far. Like, oh, here's the thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go into the next space. But for the most part, what this game is, it's all about touch and feeling the pieces that are out there, and it works. Now, this game, the story behind this game is a fascinating one. The author of this game was playing with someone who could not see, and so decided to make a game for that person where they would not be at a disadvantage. And I think that's fascinating, that's neat, that's something to be applauded. And there's definitely, when we go at the end of this year and we talk about the most interesting, unique, innovative games, Nyctophobia is on the list. It just is, as a matter of course. It's different than any game I've ever played or experienced. It's almost, I feel like, more of an experience than a game. And there's one really important thing, I think. The hunter themselves. The rule book says somewhere in here, I'm not sure exactly where it is, but the rule book basically says, hey, play it up, hunter. Make noises, be scary. But the hunter is so critical. They are playing the whole game, essentially. They're playing their own turn, moving and playing their cards. But they are also helping everyone else move their things. If they touch something, you're like, you just touched a rock. They are talking and taunting, and they are keeping the game flowing. They cannot make any mistakes. The whole game revolves around that hunter helping everyone else make their moves. Which is a very weird experience because the person holding my hand also is trying to kill me. It's just kind of a weird dichotomy there for me. But where I found the thing is, if the hunter says, I'm going to crush these guys, I don't know that you could stop them. Really. I think the hunter needs to play more as a dungeon master or a game master, and they're trying to win, kind of, sort of, but they're also trying to help everyone have a good time, and I think the game works best in that. I don't know that Nyctophobia is a great game, per se. It is a magnificent experience. It is really cool, and with those glasses on, even if I'm playing in a brightly lit room, I have this claustrophobic feel. I am almost afraid playing this game. There's not many games that make you feel afraid, but this one kind of has that in there for you. Like, ooh, what's going to happen here? And that's neat. And then there's the tactile part of the game where you are feeling things. Again, that's such a unique, interesting idea. Now, sometimes you're listening to what other people do, and you might be stumbling next to someone. You're like, where is this car? And that dread where you're like, okay, I'm finally getting away, and you realize you went down the dead end. Bingo! That is the exact same thing when that person runs down and there's nowhere to go. Well, actually, that still scares me in movies, and it scares me in this game. So, I'm recommending this game, but you have to know what you're getting into. This isn't a game that you're just going to throw on the table, everyone's going to go, let's go play. The hunter needs to be the most experienced in the game, for sure, and they need to be very specific in what they're doing. Going into this, I think they need to treat it as an experience for everybody and not just I will destroy all of you. And when that happens, this unique, cool idea from a designer that I hope to see more from in the future, because I love to see what she has up her sleeve next, because this is such a neat idea. I think you'll have a great time. And if you do play with someone who is hard of eyesight or is blind, you're now playing a game in which everyone is on equal ground, and I think that's a neat idea too. Nyctophobia. Glad this game was made. Dice Tower Judgment, played the right way, approved.